Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to 501st. Today, we are going to be watching a replay by the Incinerator, the leader of our clan, in his SU-130 PM. And right away you see that there's no SPGs and it is on Red Shire, so for a turreted tank destroyer, well, mostly turreted tank destroyer, this could be a very good matchup. But also it is against tier 10s, so we're just going to have to see how this turns out. So, right away, you're going to keep your eye on the chat because there's a lot of complaining about all the heavies going left instead of right, and especially pay some attention to this Object 257, who is very, very disappointed and says that they're automatically going to lose. So we'll just have to check this out and see what ends up happening. So there's an EBR-90 and an STB-1, both getting pretty close to the base while the EBR-90 is. The STB-1 seems to be advancing around the right side. So as you can see, the Incinerator is taking cover behind this rock right here, hoping to find some cover behind it and maybe put in a few shells to some tanks. Now, if you don't know what the SU-130 PM is, it is about almost 180. You can turn your wait just 1 second and I'll tell you about that. As you see, the STB-1 right here, it pops out real quick, and bam, 1/4 of its hit points gone in one shell. So the SU-130 PM, it can turn its turret about 90 degrees in each angle, so it can't go all the way around and just enjoy this juicy moment. There goes half of the EBR-90's health, and it can turn its turret about 90 degrees in each direction. It has virtually no armor and a very, very high alpha on its tier 10 gun that it has at tier 8, which is very nice, and it has a very cool look to it. So, as you can see, this flank isn't going too great for the Incinerator's team right now, but they have beat this other flank, so we'll just see what happens. Right now, one kill has been made on each side. Unfortunately, he misses that shell and takes a 270 damage shot from the STB-1, which is a tier 8 Japanese premium medium tank. And also, just so you guys know, I believe that is that the STA-1? Yes. So I think that tank is getting buffed. If that's the premium tank, go and watch my previous video about the new buffs that are entering the super test for 8 premium tanks, and also watch this very satisfying shot right there. There goes 1/5 of the hit points on that very, very healthy, very, very armored tier 10 tank, and he takes one hit from the Bisonte, which lowers him down into a one-hit scenario for many of these tier 9 and tier 10 tanks. So this EBR, can he finish him off? Unfortunately, he misses that shot by just a little bit, and luckily they have overrun this flank with a few of their lighter tanks, but this flank is falling to pieces. Maybe he can pin in a shell on this LT-432, and it looks like the LT-432 stopped right there, but the reality is he got tracked right before there, and unfortunately, the perfect lead that was made by the Incinerator ended up missing because of the track that another one of his teammates made. So, as you can see, the base is being captured right now. You're about to see something in just a second. That is the tier 8 that I was talking about, and 584 damage straight to it just then. As you can see, the Object 257 is saying waste of Tage in credits, which actually is time, but clearly he doesn't want to worry about saying that. And as you can see, this guy also has a 13 years badge, which is, that means you've been playing it since beta testing. And so that's a very good medal, and even he thinks they're going to lose this battle as they are down by 2 kills, and that flank has been overrun. So we'll just have to see what happens right now. So far, the Incinerator is up to 2,200 damage. That is about double his hit points, and 394 spot damage, which is actually, well, I call it spot damage, assistance damage is the proper word for it. And he's just waiting for this G-Sword right now. The G-Sword just keeps popping back and forth, and he comes out, and The incinerator is able to shut him down with his very high alpha, and this must be one of the most satisfying replays I've seen. All these huge hulking tanks right here, and the T10 says cap ×3, so that means 3 tanks in the cap, because they're getting overrun over there, so they might not be able to take down all these tanks, and he says affirmative. And it's quite funny because the T10 was heading there in the first at the first part, but then he got distracted by a couple of these juicy light armored tanks, so he might be a little bit of a hypocrite there, but we'll have to see if that actually would have changed the game at all. So, as you can see, he's reversing up this slope as there are a couple tanks that are advancing right here, and he doesn't want to get caught in the midst of it, but then he gets drawn back out, I guess, by the EBR-90 and this TS-5 that is right here, who he seems to be taking a beat on. So the TS-5, a Tier 8, very, very, very heavy American tank destroyer that I would quite like to have. There goes 1/3 of his hit points in one shell to a same tier tank. So as there is a Jagdpanzer advancing, an E-100, an Object 257, and an EBR-90, 3 very powerful Tier 10 heavy tanks in one very fast wheeled vehicle, and the Object 704 shuts that Object 257 down very nicely there, and the incinerator is able to reverse over the slope without getting shut down. So there's only 17 seconds left in the cap, 16, 15. Can they get it without the EBR coming or one of the other tanks destroying their cap? The T-10 is now coming to try to come in. The EBR-90, 17 damage to the Object 704, and almost all of the cap goes away in just one shell. Unfortunately, the incinerator couldn't get a little bit higher roll there, and the EBR-90 is still on 6 health. So the incinerator is advancing around this flank, and there's a Jagdpanzer E-100 with 1,500 average damage. He's rolling around seeing if he can get a shot into him. He does, and oh no, there's an E-100 right there. Will he be able to shut the incinerator down? No, he does not. And the base capture is currently blocked by this Jagdpanzer E-100, and the E-100 also was shut down. So now, and the Jagdpanzer E-100 was also just shut down. So it's now just down to the EBR-90, who seems to be hiding in the castle. And I'll just speed this part up a little bit. The incinerator loads HE, which might have not been the best idea, as it has slower shell velocity, and this is a very speedy wheeled vehicle. But we'll just have to see if he is able to get the shell in. So they're waiting for the EBR-90. He's coming around this other end. The incinerator advances just a little bit and peeks through the bush. And the EBR-90, where is he going to be? He comes out. Oh, he just fires a second later than the Object 704, and the Object 704 shuts him down. And that was the end of the replay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And if you have a replay that you'd like, or you'd like to join our clan, please contact me by my email in the description below.